For centuries, we've looked at the pyramids as these massive, isolated monuments. But what if we've been looking at them all wrong? What if they were actually designed as a single, connected system? A system with a hidden code, a geometric progression left behind by one of Egypt's greatest builders. Well, that's exactly what we're talking about today, the Sneferu Golden Chain.
So, our story really kicks off with Pharaoh Sneferu. You might know him as the father of Khufu, the guy who built the Great Pyramid. But Sneferu was an incredible builder in his own right. He left us with 3 huge and very different pyramids. The one at Medium, the famous Bent Pyramid, and the groundbreaking Red Pyramid, which was the first successful true smooth-sided pyramid.
But here's the thing that's always baffled Egyptologists. When you look at their dimensions, their heights, the length of their bases, they all seem kind of random. Like there's no obvious connection between them. Why build them to these exact, really specific sizes? Was there some kind of master plan that we've all been missing?
Well, it turns out there was a plan, and the key to cracking the whole thing wide open lies with the weirdest one of the bunch, the Bent Pyramid. You see, its strange, 2-angle design wasn't some kind of construction mistake. It was the cipher that unlocks the entire system. And this amazing breakthrough comes from a researcher named Lance Darnell. He's the one who figured out that the Bent Pyramid isn't an error at all. He realized it was a deliberate Rosetta Stone, basically designed to show how all of Sneferu's giant projects were connected. So Darnell's first big clue was right there in the Bent Pyramid's unique shape. He found that the relationship between its steep lower part and its flatter upper part was perfectly proportional to the bases of the Red and Medium pyramids. All of a sudden, these weren't just separate buildings anymore. They were pieces of a single beautiful mathematical puzzle. And that puzzle is governed by a very special number, one you've probably heard of. It's the golden ratio, also known as phi. It's this fundamental constant that pops up everywhere in the universe, from seashells to galaxies, and it represents this idea of perfect harmonious growth. But the Egyptians, they used it in a really specific way. You see, the real secret here wasn't just phi, it was phi squared, a number around 2.618. This was the magic multiplier. The dimensions of one pyramid, when multiplied by this number, gave you the dimensions for the next one. And get this, the system even connects to Khufu's Great Pyramid. Its base, divided by phi squared, is directly related to the Red Pyramid's perimeter. This was a design system that was meant to span generations. Okay, so this is the huge question, right? How in the world could a civilization from thousands of years ago, without any calculators or decimal points, precisely use a complex irrational number like phi, let alone phi squared, to build some of the biggest structures on Earth? I mean, did they have some kind of lost advanced mathematics? Well, the answer Darnell found is just brilliantly simple. They didn't need advanced math. All they needed was a rope and some stakes. Okay, so just picture yourself as an ancient Egyptian surveyor. You lay out a square. You find the exact middle of one side. Then you anchor a rope there and swing it like a compass all the way to the opposite corner of the square. Where that rope crosses your original baseline, you hammer in a new stake. The new, longer line you've just made has grown from the original, and it's now exactly 5 times larger. It's a simple physical action that generates a perfect mathematical constant, no calculation needed. And this just shows the absolute genius of the ancient architects. They didn't need to calculate phi. They could create it organically with the simplest tools you can imagine. By just repeating this one simple process, they could create a whole chain of dimensions, with each one growing from the last in perfect golden ratio harmony. So now let's actually look at the chain itself. Let's see how this incredible rope and stake method was used step by step to create this amazing progression of monuments right across the Egyptian landscape. I mean, just look at how the chain builds itself, step by step. They start with the 160-cubit base of an earlier pyramid. They apply the method, and boom, it generates 210 cubits, which is exactly half the base of Sneferu's Red Pyramid. They do it again, and you get 275 cubits, the base of the Maiden Pyramid. From there, the chain grows to 360 cubits for the Bent Pyramid's lower base, and then 472 for its upper section. Every single monument grows out of the last one in a perfect, unbroken geometric line. But this is where it gets truly mind-bending. The chain doesn't actually stop with Sneferu's monuments. It seems the architects just kept applying the growth method, and they generated 2 more numbers in the sequence. The next number they came up with was 618. Now, does that look familiar? It's the golden ratio itself right after the decimal point.
It's almost like they were embedding the mathematical constant directly into the chain, like a signature. And the number after that? 809. For years, that would have just seemed like a random number in a sequence. But it turns out that 809 cubits is the exact perimeter of the pyramid of a later pharaoh, Jedefra. The chain kept going even after Snefru.
So what this reveals is a system so much bigger than anyone ever imagined. The golden chain that Sneferu started doesn't just link his own pyramids, it actually extends forward to Jedefre and provides a direct mathematical bridge to the Giza pyramids of his son Khufu and his grandson Khafre. This wasn't just a series of random projects, this was a dynastic master plan written in stone and geometry.
Which brings us to the biggest question of all. We've seen the how, but why? Why would they go to all this incredible trouble to create this elaborate, hidden chain of monuments, all growing in perfect harmony with each other?
Darnell's conclusion is that this was never just about architecture. It was theology. He calls it a ritual growth, and he draws a direct comparison to the creator god Khnum, who the Egyptians believed shaped the human body out of clay on a potter's wheel. This completely reframes how we think about the pyramids. In this view, each pyramid wasn't just a building, it was a representation of the king's divine, eternal body. And by building them in this golden ratio progression, the Egyptians were basically performing a massive, nationwide ritual. They were geometrically growing the pharaoh's divine form, making it more perfect with each step. This transforms the pyramids from just tombs into these powerful ritual machines designed to guarantee the king's divine rebirth.
So, there you have it. A master plan of ritual growth, linking an entire dynasty through a secret geometric code. And it was just hiding there for 4,500 years, waiting for someone to see the connections. It really makes you wonder, if a system this profound was there all along, right in front of our eyes, what else are we still not seeing?